I got this mould for Christmas and I have no idea how to put it together. It's supposed to make a dragon mould and I love dragons. I like anything mythical. So I thought I'd have a go. I'm going to make it with mica powder and put some mica powder in the actual resin and see how well it comes out. Now some of these bits are quite thin and soft, so I want to make sure that I have a really good resin for this. I'm going to be using, oddly enough, this tabletop resin, which is a 2-to-1 ratio. It cures quite quickly, but I know that it has a great hardness and a hardness of 85D, which means it is nice and hard. And it is all about knowing your resins and knowing which resin to use for each project. So without too much further ado, I'm going to get on with this. As I'm using the tabletop resin and it's a 2-to-1 mixture, I've marked on my little measuring cup what I need to put in of each one. Quick thank you to all my members. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Don't forget we've got some live streams coming up for members only soon, so look out for those. Now I'm painting a little bit of black mica powder into this mould, just in rough areas, because I wanted to give it a little bit of texture when it's finished. And as you'll see, I think it comes out really, really well on this one. Adding my gold mica powder. I've got glitter on the brain at the moment because I've been using some glow-in-the-dark glitter. And also some transparent kind of yellowy gold. And pouring that nicely into the mould. Massive thank you to everybody that got me a coffee last month. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It really does help me keep this channel going. So thank you very much. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, links in the description. Pouring this through, using a little stick to make sure that I get everything into the right place and letting it cure. This is all cured now, and because we use the tabletop resin, which is the 85D hardness, this should all be lovely and hard, even on these thin bits. And it is. Look at that. Look how nice and hard they are. They're not going to go anywhere. So let's undo all this. Oh, and everything has come out well. I like the fact that we've got some two-tone in there as well. See, look at all the lovely detail it even gives on the horns. Now, because this is a chocolate mold, it doesn't have any way to glue it together. So what we're going to have to use is something to glue this together with. I've already glued most of it together, and I'm going to show you how I glued it together. All I used was this. I love this stuff. Equal amounts. I put it straight on my silicone mat because once it's cured within 5 minutes, I can just pull it off. And it just cleans up nicely. Mixing that together. Take too much to mix it together, but make sure it's well mixed. Not too much, because you don't want it all squeezing out. And then I pushed those together until they made a really nice seal. And that's how I did all the other bits. Lining them all up and pushing them together. Now, I will leave this for 5 minutes and then I'll show you how I attached the wings. And I attached the wings already to this smaller one. And that was really easy to do. And that comes with the mould. That's all nice and dry now, didn't take long at all. What I'm going to use to put the wings on with is the J Diction resin, and this is the one that comes in my kit. It's the UV resin, and that should stick on there really well. All I'm going to do is hold it in place like that and cure it up using the light that comes with the kit. I think there's only about 40 left now, so if you want to get it and benefit from all the savings that the kit offers, then get in quick. And then once I've done it that side, I'll flip it over and put a little bit on the other side as well to give it that extra bit of security and to ensure that it's nicely cured up. So the answer to the question that I said at the beginning is, can you make resin castings out of chocolate molds? The answer is definitely yes. Chocolate molds do create some amazing little castings, and I'm really pleased with how these have come out. But what do we do with them now? One of my members, Holly Yvette Kelly, thank you Holly, I really appreciate it, came up with an amazing idea for the smaller dragon, and that is to turn it into a pendant. Now if I'd have thought about doing this before, I probably wouldn't have had the wings at quite so much of an angle, but it doesn't really matter. What we can do is turn this into a pendant. You could either hang it from the nose or you could hang it from either of the wings. Now I've chosen to hang it from the wings. All I'm going to do is put a little dot in where I think it should be hung, and I think they're quite even, those two dots. And now taking my little handheld drill here, I've got a piece of foam to push these onto because I don't want to push on too hard because I don't want to snap these wings off. I'm going to drill a hole through them. Whenever you're using this type of drill, make sure you've got your top on there and you're letting the drill do the work. Don't push on it too hard. Let the actual drill bit do the work. Now, if you've got a Dremel or something like that, that is obviously going to do it a lot quicker, but I couldn't be bothered to go and get my Dremel. It won't take long to get those all the way through. And once it's through, rather than ruining my silicone mat, which I've done on numerous occasions, it's going to go straight into this foam. And these are lovely and hard, these wings, because we made them with that tabletop resin. Well, they've drilled through really easily. Now, to clean those up, all I've got to do is push one of these little micro brushes through it. But I'm going to use a little bit of 99% alcohol on it because I want to get rid of any mark that I put on it there as well. And that should get rid of that mark from the pen and clean those holes up lovely. I also drilled a hole through the tail there because I want to add something onto the tail. So again, I want to get rid of any of the resin dust that has gone through there. And I did all that with this little drill. I want to make something that goes on the end of that tail. And I've got hundreds of little beads bits because I make a lot of jewellery. So I've got my loops. I know where my loop is going. And I've got my beads. And all I'm going to do is take one of these little stems here, like that have got a little bobble on the end to stop things falling off. I'm going to add some little bits and make a little design up for it. So one of these that are a bit sparkly, quite like that. I think I'm going to have one of these bigger ones on top of that, like that. And then on top of that, put another one of these, because I quite like these. And now I'm going to add a bit of colour to it. So I've got some red little tiny beads. And I make a lot of jewellery, and I'm going to be making more over on my other channel soon. So you'll be able to see that as well. That's Steve McDonald's Crafting. And then follow that with one of these silver ones. Put another one of those on there like that. Another round bead. Yeah, I think that's going to look great. So put that to one side. And what we need to do is, for this one, we need to put a loop in it. I want it to be on there quite tight. So I've got it like that. And I'm holding my pliers right up close to that. I'm going to put a little bend in it there. Then I'm going to go up a bit above that bend and work those around there like that. Bring that back like that. And now that has got a little loop in it. What I don't need is this spare bit on the end here. So I can nip that off. And then that's hanging nicely off that tail. Now we need to put the jump rings in these two nice holes that we've already drilled. And you could put some extra bits on this as well if you wanted to. You could put some little beads on these jump rings, but I'm not going to. Close that one up. Now we've got two jump rings on there and we've got the tail attached. All we need to do is attach either a cord or something similar. And I'm going to add a piece of black chain to this, attach this to the jump ring, and it can pull over your head. But if you want to put a clasp in the middle of it, you could. You wouldn't have to pull it over your head, but I don't want a clasp on this one. But it'd be easy to put a clasp in the middle of this chain, that's for sure. And that way you could have a shorter chain, more of a choker. And that's what it looks like with the chain on. So let's look what it looks like on. I think it looks great on. I think it's come out really well. I do like the bit extra on the tail that's just hanging down. Really simple to do. Like I said, I would have those wings a little bit flatter rather than sticking out quite at that angle. But until Holly suggested this, it wasn't something that I'd considered doing, but I think it's great. So there we go. From a cheap chocolate mould, you can make a great looking dragon that would work as a really good pendant. And you've also got this larger dragon that you could add to something. Now, I have got a project that I'm planning to do on my other channel where I will be using this dragon. So look out for that as well. Hope you've enjoyed this. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring that little bell. Really helps my videos to get out there. Ensure you check out my other channel because there's going to be a lot more jewellery things coming out on there as well. Take care. Enjoy your resin. Bye.